haven't seen
Why so much?
either.
This side is like real prepared. And then,
I don't know what to tell you.
no, I was like, what if we played like dodgeball or something against side versus side?
Melanie is the friend. Why am I going here?
Melanie, you have to play all of us in here.
It's all I need, girls.
Oh my god. Oh my god, what is he doing?
It hasn't started yet.
Look at this.
No, right here.
I want to get wheeled around like that.
We got the stuff for the trip.
Mine changed, so I just show up. You're gonna away, so like that's also this competition for dog tour diversity, which will be February 26th.
So I have to put mine
If you want to be top 250 or any into it, so you're gonna just go around rate how much dollars worth. Try to get as much like absolutely, but if you're not gonna do it until Monday of next week.
I'm Carly.
But I do need to I just provided yes,
Like Darren's
starting Darren's college of engineering.
We could get them right here.
spare change.
I am, that's what I'm
Okay, the metric that I use for that is
our goal is like the first 100 kind of getting.
in like entire season, I discovered dropping classes. Well, no, out of the top 11 in Fresno State, all of which were above 40%. This meeting will come to order at 4 p.m. We're now holding a meeting of the ASI Student Senate. As per ASI bylaws, I will begin with a land acknowledgement. The Fresno State campus sits in the midst of the San Joaquin Valley, a valley rich in the traditions and representation of Native American peoples and cultures. We are grateful to be in the traditional homelands of the Yakuts and Mono peoples, whose diverse tribal communities share stewardship over this land. Thank you for joining me in this acknowledgement. I will now take roll. President Van Oven,
Present.
VP Zamudia Tejas,
Present.
VPEX Flores,
Present.
Senator Blodgett,
Present.
Senator Kamley,
Present.
Senator Chaudhary,
Present.
Senator Dewali,
Present.
Senator Firstman,
Present.
Senator Garabedian,
Present.
Senator Guzman,
Present.
Senator Holt,
Present.
Senator Hope.
Present.
Did I say that right? Senator Howdigan,
Present.
Senator Kisby,
Here.
Senator Monzo,
Present.
Senator Mora,
Present.
Senator Renteria,
Present.
Senator Rivera.
Present.
Okay, with a count of 4 executives present and 15 senators present, we meet quorum. We will now proceed to item 3.0, public comment. Public comment is a time for any member of the public to address the Senate on any issue affecting Associated Students, Inc. and or California State University, Fresno. You can either address your concern live during the meeting at the allotted time, or you can send your comment ahead of time via email to asi-vice-president@mail.fresnostate.edu. We will now open the floor to public comment. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. If there's any public comment, please approach the podium. Seeing and hearing none, we will now be moving on to action item 4.0, approval of the agenda. I will be opening the floor for motions. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Dwelly.
I motion to approve the agenda.
Senator Kisby.
I second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion or debate? Seeing and hearing none, I'll do a voice call vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against say no. Any abstentions? Seeing and hearing none, the motion passes. The agenda is approved. We will now open the floor for motions on item 5.0, approval of the minutes. The Senate will review the minutes from the ASI Student Senate Meeting held on November 20th, 2024. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Kemlin?
I motion to approve the minutes.
Senator Chowdhury?
I second.
Thank you. Any discussion, any debate? Seeing and hearing none, I'll be doing a voice call vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against say no. Any abstentions? Seeing and hearing none, the motion passes. The minutes are approved. We'll now move forward to item 6.0, campus reports versus item 6.1, campus resource reports. Each speaker presenting a campus resource report will have 10 minutes to address the student senate. Are there any campus resource reports today? Seeing and hearing none, we will move forward to 6.2, campus administration reports. Each speaker similarly will have 10 minutes to present. Are there any campus administration reports today? Seeing and hearing none. We will now move forward to item 7.0, new business. We'll open the forum info item 7.1, appreciation presentation for Victory Bulldog statue support. The Student Senate has reserved 10 minutes for this item. May our guests come up whenever they are ready to present.
Wow. Thank you so much. Can I have the other 10 minutes from the people before? So before I get started, I'm Peter Robertson, and I brought three guests with me, Anne-Marie, Alexis, and Victory Bulldog III. And we're just here to say thank you for supporting our statue project. It's a project I was lucky enough to work on in front of the student union. It took 2 years to fundraise and fabricate and produce that, and it took another year to get a plaque made. So they're looking at 3 years. And so we just wanted to come and say thank you for supporting that project. I know it's going to be there for a long time to come. And so for the office, we have a framed picture to give to Victory Bulldog to hang in the office as thanks. And then everyone is getting their own picture as well. And so we just, that's basically what I'm here. So I'll probably speak for 1 more minute. Can I see the next slide?
Next slide.
Next slide.
Sorry. I was looking at the dog. My bad.
So this is something I'm really proud about. We call this slide something to bark about. The Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C. keeps a depository of almost 1 million pieces of public art, and this statue is on that public website now. So I wanted that for a bragging point to Fresno State. Thank you very much. And I think I have one more slide. I'm repeating myself. So can I change the subject?
Of course.
All right, should have given me the mic. So, I don't know if anyone saw this publication that came out, but I got one in the mail, and I turned to page 14, and our dear Freddie, 2 pages. Congratulations, Freddie. I just had to give you a shout out. We appreciate you and your service. This concludes my report. Thank you. Any questions? Good. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Thanks for your time.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for your service to the campus.
We appreciate you. No state funds were used on the purchase of this. And your gifts are worth under $5. I don't think that's the thing. Follow the rules. Follow the rules. Follow the rules. Follow the rules. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. Another round of applause for our guests. Thank you. I don't want to dampen the mood too quickly, but we will now move on to action item 7.2, nomination of Senate Secretary. The Student Senate has reserved 20 minutes for this item. Senators may nominate others or themselves. After nominations, each candidate will have 3 minutes to speak, and you'll have to take time to take 3 questions from senators afterwards, ending with a choice to do a 1-minute closing statement, depending on if we have more than 1 candidate. A reminder that the Senate Secretary may not be a current committee chair, nor someone running in this upcoming election. Theoretically, they can be, but we would just have to vote for a new one right afterwards. So, I will open the floor for nominations. Are there any nominations on the floor today? Senator Hall.
I nominate Senator Mora.
Senator Moore, do you accept the nomination?
Yeah.
All right. Is there a second to that nomination? Senator Chowdhury?
I second.
Okay. Are there any competing nominations on the floor today? Senator.
What? James is slow.
Is anyone no competing motions?
No. Okay.
Okay, very well. Wait, Senator Chowdhury? I thought you motioned. Okay, never mind. Okay. Okay, so no competing motions. So any discussion or debate regarding this nomination? Seeing and hearing none, we will move forward to a voice call vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Any abstentions? Seeing and hearing none, congratulations to our new Senate Secretary.
Please come see me this week to review your new role.
Okay, yeah, I will.
All right, thank you very much. We will now move forward to action item 7.3, consent calendar. ASI President Van Hoven will present the consent calendar for approval. We reserve 5 minutes for this item.
This is pretty standard, yeah. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
All right, any questions for President Van Hoven on the consent calendar? Seeing and hearing none, I will be opening the floor for motions. Senator Diwali,
I motion to approve the consent calendar.
are there any seconds? Senator Rivera?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion, debate? Seeing and hearing none, I'll be doing a voice call vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against say no. Any abstentions? Seeing and hearing none. The motion passes. The consent calendar is approved. We will now be moving forward to action item 7.4, Jordan Senator attendance deliberation. Student Senate has reserved 20 minutes for this item. I will be presenting on Senator Prado's issue and requesting a resolution from the Senate. Senator Prado is graduating this semester and has a class that is required during our Senate meetings. Senator Prado requested I put this decision on the floor, and I accepted her suggestion to do so. With the issue of us deciding not to do further confirmations of roles in the spring semester for the sake of productivity in the Senate, I decided it would be best to take this route of determining this rather than simply asking for her resignation. The motion I am proposing is to have Senator Prado find a proxy for further future committee and Senate meetings. The senators on the floor, you guys can motion whatever you'd like. If we do not get a motion regarding this, and if nothing is passed, then that would lead me to, after this meeting, requesting for Senator Prado's resignation following this meeting, as per the bylaws that I have to follow. So I'm going to open the floor for discussion on this. Is there any discussion on the floor regarding Senator Prado's situation, or any questions to me specifically, since she is not here to answer them?
Does she have a proxy?
Well, it would depend. I didn't want to be preemptive and tell her to find anything, depending if it doesn't pass here, right? So she can find I'm more than certain she can find a proxy in this next week's time, but I didn't want to tell her go find a proxy because you guys haven't decided anything regarding it. Senator Hall? Oh, sorry, are you done?
No. So what if we say yes, but what if we don't want to say yes if she doesn't have a proxy? And what if she can't find a proxy?
If she can't find a proxy, then that would mean that I would ask for her resignation. If that's what you guys agree on.
Senator Prado did let me know that she does have a proxy that's prepared to come
Great,
whenever vowed at the
Awesome.
next Senate meeting.
right.
And
then
next
that's the
committee.
answer.
But
But
she's not here to tell us that.
she's not, no. So she asked me to let you guys know. But that class in question is during this time. Right. So that's what I mean. So if this Senate meeting were to end and you guys don't vote on anything, I would be asking for a resignation afterwards.
But she didn't tell you that she had a proxy.
No, because I'm just presenting on her case. I'm not trying to pass it. I'm not trying to fail it. I've just been asked to speak on it for her. Are there any other questions? Senator Kidney.
This isn't a question, this is a motion.
Oh, I haven't opened the floor for motions
Okay.
yet. Senator Hall.
Would it be possible to get Senator Prado's proxy in for the next Senate meeting?
Depending on how you all vote today, yes.
Okay.
That would be specifically how you motion, right? So if you were to motion, just as an example, if the motion would be, James, actually, could you help me on this, the specifics on this?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
So, to Freddie's point, we didn't want to be presumptuous in deciding that she should have a proxy before the Senate made an actual vote. So, whoever moves to either approve or deny, but if you're leaning towards making a motion to approve her having a proxy, then you could stipulate it in such a way that that proxy would have to be seated or found and seated before the next Senate meeting. So that's how the Senate can guide Freddie and myself to help Senator Prado find and give us a time limit and timeline in order to find a proxy for her.
And also for me, the way that this would work is that if we were to vote for a proxy, we wouldn't specifically have to specify the time that they would need to find it on, because if we vote this way, if the proxy would not show up to committee next Wednesday, I would be giving Senator Prado a strike as an unexcused absence. Because that proxy at that point would be acting as them. So if a proxy wouldn't show up next Wednesday, Senator Prado themselves would receive a strike. So that's why proxies themselves are somewhat risky, because you can't guarantee that they would attend, so it'd be up to Senator Prado to find someone responsible that would make sure that they wouldn't get kicked out, if that makes sense.
And we're changing the bylaw.
No, but that would be up to you guys on the floor right now. You theoretically could motion to do a bylaw change, but otherwise we would be voting on this as a one-time exception. It depends on how you guys motion it. Sorry, do you have more comment before I call on Senator Rivera? Okay, sorry, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, Senator Rivera.
So if this does get motioned and for whatever reason that proxy, if we motion that proxy in, if that proxy can't make it, would there be a proxy for that proxy?
No, I would be making it very simple. If the proxy would have to attend Senator
No matter what happens, it's sure on.
Right, so if Senator Prado's proxy does not show up, if that's what we agree on,
Okay,
right?
perfect.
Because otherwise we could agree to, you could all vote to excuse Senator Prado completely from Senate meetings and just have them do their 10-hour service hours. I see the logic in doing a proxy so that Jordan College is still represented on the floor of the Senate, and then Senator Prado could then tell the proxy how they would like them to vote. I think that's fair because Jordan College still deserves representation on the floor, right? Senator Chowdhury.
If we don't vote her in to stay, are we gonna find a new person?
No, because in the Senate retreat that we had recently, we had spoken that the executives had agreed that we would not be filling empty confirmations in the spring semester for the efficiency of the Senate.
Why is that an executive decision? Why did you not ask us?
Technically, that would be, I consulted with them to be kind. Technically, I can make that choice as EVP myself. You guys can overrule me if you disagree with my choice. That's also within your rights as the Senate.
How do I do that?
You can motion to do so now.
How do I motion? What would the motion be?
Theoretically, the motion would be that you would like to motion to fill empty confirmation spaces in the spring semester.
And then is there gonna be discussion after that?
It would go
just
through the
depends.
same normal
It would the
process
same.
as every other motion.
Right.
Wait, say that again?
It would go through the same parliamentary process
No,
as every
the
other motion.
motion, sorry. So I know what to say.
What I'm saying is right now specifically, we would have to put it on, because this item is specifically about, because you can't, let's say for example, if the item is labeled that it's a election timeline approval, you can't all of a sudden in the middle of that item bring up finance. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I would work with you to put it on the agenda for next meeting, and I would not stop you to doing so, and then we can vote it in that way.
But we can say, I know you said that we can motion anything in between,
Right,
you
but
know what I-
regarding the item that we're speaking on,
So I would have to do it after that action item?
after the action item. Theoretically, also in the approval of the agenda, before the start of the meeting, before we officially started the meeting with the approval of the agenda, if you would have wanted to do a bylaw change, et cetera, you would have had the motion there to include it. If that makes sense. Is there any confusion on that? Because I'd like to clarify that to everybody. Everybody is free to put anything on the agenda. I won't stop them to do so. I'll advise them if I ever have any issues or if I see any problems that could arise from it. But for the most part, if we're speaking on this item, the only motions we can make regarding Senator Prado's situation right now are about their attendance, in what way we would excuse it, or in what way we would not.
Can I deny a motion? Or can I?
You can do a competing motion to deny it, yes, of course. And then if you get a second, that would be then, we would do it the same way we do any competing motion. But for the sake of time, Senator Chowdhury, we could talk about parliamentary procedure and the details of it after the meeting. Would that be okay? And then we could clarify, we can go through exactly the way we would want to do it. But yeah, if you wanted to do a motion saying that you denied Senator Prado's request, that's up to you. You can do so. Are there any other questions or comments before I open the floor? Senator Hall?
I just want to ask you personally if there was another senator who fell into certain circumstances where they weren't able to attend Senate meetings moving forward, would we do this for every single senator?
No, so this is how I would clarify it too, because I do have enough say with how you guys elect me, right, for how the meeting is, how Senate is managed. I will be honest. If a senator approached me that has 2 strikes or close to 3 strikes, I would have simply asked for the resignation.
But seeing as none of the senators have any strikes to my knowledge, moving forward, if somebody were to say they now have a doctor's appointment scheduled at this time every Wednesday.
That wouldn't be the same thing, because that's something that compared to, but that's also what I mean. Within my personal thing, because Senator Prado asked that I bring this to the Senate, right? This is a senator coming to me with something to put on the agenda.
So this wouldn't necessarily, if another senator had the exact same circumstances moving forward, they were to add a class that they needed or something, it's not guaranteed that they would be given the same courtesy
What I'm saying
for
is
this
that
to be
if
put
they
on the
insisted
agenda.
to put it on the agenda, right, I would put it on the agenda if they insisted, right?
Okay.
Because they would still be a senator at that time.
I just wanted to know if every senator, you know what I mean, like
Every
if we would
senator
vote
has
on
the
this
right to
today
come to me, exactly, right.
and
It's-
ask for this to be put on the agenda.
Right, I can
Okay.
give you advice otherwise. I think within Senator Prado's situation, I found it justifiable to put it on the floor, right? But I could have disagreed with them, and they could have still told me, no, I still want it on the floor, and I would have put it on.
Yeah.
Right.
One other thing, I just want to say that I think that leaving Senator Prado's seat unfilled, which is what would happen if we decided that she wasn't able to come to Senate, or that we were going to make her resign, I think that's going to cause much more harm to the Jordan College, and the Jordan College is like one of the colleges that I would say needs probably the most advocating for it. It's probably in the worst spot with needing like financial backing and stuff from the school. So I do think that this college deserves representation. I think Senator Prado's done a great job of that. But I do think that there's no way that we can allow a senator to stay in this position if she doesn't have a proxy. I think that the Jordan College deserves to have somebody there to vote for them. And I think it would be best going forward if we had Senator Prado select a proxy.
I respect your opinion on that, and I'm inclined to agree as well. What was that?
Can I say something?
Of course, go ahead.
And also just be mindful, like we totally understand that you all are students and that things happen. So under HR rules and such, if a personal life instance happens, like let's say you lost a loved one, or you have a medical emergency, or you have an academic reason why you're unable to participate in any ASI event, it's more than likely that we will excuse it, because those are unforeseen circumstances that are beyond your control. Those rules are in place to make sure that obviously we fulfill our duties according to our bylaws and policies, and to make sure that you're here representing your respective areas on campus, and you're not seeking excused absences from the Senate just because you don't want to be here, or for some other reason that doesn't fall within personal, academic, or health reasons, right?
And then obviously, because excusals for medical reasons do happen, I've had plenty of senators reach out to me telling me in advance, like, I have a medical issue, I'm sick, I have a conference, this and that. I will work with you, be flexible. In Senator Prado's case, they flatly came to me, told me I will not be able to attend any meetings, here are the reasons why, and I would like to find a way to work around this. And within the bylaws, how it states is I, as EVP, am supposed to ask for the resignation if they're not able to attend the meetings, right? So it says it's pretty flat on there. So the only alternative would be to come to the Senate so that they can do another deliberation. I did not want to simply ignore the bylaws and excuse Senator Prado because with my own power. I think that's incorrect. Are there any other questions, comments before we, Senator Moore?
So in the bylaws, like, it is written that if you ask for it to be on the Senate floor, like, then that's okay, or that's like not written yet?
That's in the bylaws. The bylaws are just it tells us exactly like the guidelines on which we're supposed to follow, right? But because you are the deciding body, it is valid for you guys to vote on anything that is within the bylaws or any sort of our processes. The executives don't have control of that. The ASI Senate does.
Okay.
Right. And then one-time exempt, it all depends on the wording, right? Because if we decided to make this a permanent exemption, that's within the wording, right? If we decided to make this a one-time exemption, that's what we would make it, right? If we were to decide as a body collectively that this is a one-time exception, that's what it would be. If we as a body decided that this is something that we would decide, that we wanted to change within the bylaws permanently, that is the right of the body, right? But we would have to get to that when we actually do bylaw review. Yes, Senator Hall.
I will say though, I think ideally, the senator that's representing that college should be the senator present at the Senate voting for them. So I think going forward, it would be something that should be on ASI members' minds, that we should probably revise the circumstances where a senator would need to resign. For example, in Francisco's position and Maris's position, if they could easily appoint somebody to kind of cut down on the time of going through all of these committees and then going through a confirmation, because it's ultimately not fair to the college that now they're not going to have a senator that's being able to fully fulfill their role. So if we were in ideal circumstances, I don't think that Maris should continue if she can't fulfill the obligations, but seeing as right now the exec board has apparently decided that we're not going to fulfill or fill any more empty roles, I think that we should appoint a proxy. But I just wanted to let you know that I think ideally we should fill the roles with people who can fully complete them.
To explain a little bit, to give mindset, because this is now my second year doing this job. When we went into confirmations last year in the spring, because we had similar issues, right? Realistically, the senators that were confirmed only had a month and a half of time to serve, because we cannot open applications for simply a few days. We have to be equitable and open them for at least two to 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, that's exactly why I think that the system, in order for an empty Senate seat to be filled, needs to be improved, and that's something that maybe the legal committee can look into.
Of course, and then that's exactly that. So these things that we learn, the things that we learn through governance are the things that we need to reflect onto bylaw changes at the end of the year. The things that we have issues with and the things that we run into are things that we should review and change as a body together. I absolutely agree with that. Because we're getting close to the time, unless somebody is motioning to extend the time for this item, I'd be inclined to open the floor for motions. Yes, I open the floor for motions. Are there any motions? Senator Kisby.
I motion that we approve her having a proxy, but make this a one-time exception until the bylaws are reviewed by the legal committee this upcoming spring. So that way legal committee has more time to review it.
I see.
I'll second.
Thank you. Do you have a competing motion?
Yeah. I motion that we allow I motion that we allow Senator Prado to continue her time in the Senate, assuming that she will have a proxy by the next Senate meeting. And if not, then I think that it's safe that she needs to resign.
Okay, so the difference between your two motions right now is that you're not stipulating that the legal committee should review.
To me, that was unclear by the motion that Senator Kisby
But pretty much, if I'm understanding Senator Kisby's motion correctly, it was to have Senator Prado
a one-time.
find a proxy, right?
One-time
One-time
exemption until reviewed by the legal committee in the upcoming bylaws.
Right. So this would be one-time exception. That's how I did I
Well, we wouldn't be giving a one-time exception. We'd be giving her an exception for the entire rest of our Senate meetings.
That would be that's how I'm taking that. Yes. The one-time exception would be for this semester, right? Huh? For only mayors, for only Senator Prado. That's how I.
So it's not one time; it's for one person.
It's for one person, right?
Okay.
So one-time exception would be. That's how I took that motion. So that's what I mean is that your guys' motions right now aren't too different. Is what I'm saying. The only thing that you're lacking is the legal committee review afterwards. Something
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm saying with whatever I said.
Okay, that's fine. Is there a second to Senator Hall's motion? Senator Chowdhury? All right. And are there any other competing motions on the floor? Seeing and hearing none, before going into a vote, I'm going to open the floor for discussion debate one more time. Seeing and hearing none. Okay, we will be starting with Senator Kisby's motion, which is specifically one-time exception for Senator Prado to find proxy, and then with...
Wait, I'm confused. So basically, it's the same. Basically, we want Senator Prado to stay in the Senate, but Senator Prado must appoint a proxy by the next Senate meeting, or else she needs to resign.
Right. That's
But
what
I
I'm
think
saying.
that wording needs to be clear, because in the first, if they're effectively the same thing, I agree, the legal committee needs to review them. However, I think it needs to be clear that if a proxy is not found by the next Senate meeting, it needs to be worded like that there needs to be resignation, or else it's unfair.
That's already would be happening if we didn't pass something.
Okay,
So that would be the default.
then we don't need to vote on two
that's what I'm
motions,
saying. That
but
would be-
it needs to be clearly worded, in my opinion.
That's fair. All right. Is there? We will be going first with Senator Kisby's motion. What was that?
I just want to explain how the continued motion vote.
Well, I don't want,
Motions.
if we want the same thing, there's no sense in making two motions. I want to clarify
I see.
what we want.
Okay.
Point of order, how about we add, the wording by the next, Senate meeting, like to my motion, so that way it considerably concises the two motions together. Consolidate.
All right. All of these. Do.
Senator Hall would have to retract hers.
Okay. Got it. Sorry, we haven't had a retraction before. It's first for me. So Senator Hall, do you retract your motion?
Well, so what's the new motion?
We have not made a new motion yet, but I need you guys to retract yours first. So we can vote.
So this is how it is. Alright, so the consensus from what I'm hearing is that you want to consolidate the motions, right? So
Yes.
because Senator Kisby moved to allow Senator Potter to have a proxy and to have a bylaw revision review, and then your motion would be consolidated into theirs by also adding the stipulation that there's a 2-week timeline between now and the next Senate meeting to appoint a proxy. So if that is the case, then Senator Hall would have to retract her motion so that it's no longer active on the floor.
So did
And then-
Senator Kisby already revise her motion?
No.
Okay, so then I would motion to retract my motion.
Yes.
Okay, and then,
And I'm allowing you to do so now.
okay, so,
Okay. You retract your
Yes.
motion. Is there a second to Senator Hall's? Senator Blodgett? All right. Do I need to vote on that, or is it just they can retract? Okay. We will now vote on the motion to retract Senator Hall's motion. Any discussion or debate? All in favor? Sorry. Any discussion or debate on that? Seeing and hearing none, all in favor say aye. All against say no. Any abstentions? All right. Senator Hall's motion is now officially retracted. Are there any other motions on the floor before we continue with Senator Kisby's motion, or do you want to?
Revise it and add the wording, by the next Senate meeting. So just after the one-time exception until the legal
We can
team.
vote on that again. Okay.
Yeah.
No, you need a second.
That's right.
Can someone
So-
second?
I second.
All right, Senator Hall, thank you for your second. Is there any discussion or debate on that? Seeing and hearing none, can we vote on the revision to approve the revision of that motion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against say no. Any abstentions? Okay, sorry. This is the first time I've ever dealt with a rejection. That's my fault. I really didn't know how to go about it. So, all right. So now we will be voting on the revised motion, which would be to have Senator Prado confirm to find a proxy prior to next Senate meeting, right? And for the legal committee to take note of this to make changes in the bylaw revisions, correct?
Yes.
Great. All right. Any discussion or debate regarding this motion? Seeing and hearing none. All in favor? No. I'm gonna do roll call vote. Senator Blodgett?
Yes.
Senator Camlin?
Yes.
Senator Chaudhary? Senator Dubali?
Yes.
Senator Frisman?
Yes.
Senator Garabedian?
Yes.
Senator Guzman?
Yes.
Senator Hall?
Yes.
Senator Hope?
Yes.
Senator Howdy?
Yes.
Senator Kisby?
Yes.
Senator Manzo?
Yes.
Senator Mora?
Yes.
Senator Prado? Oh, Jesus. Okay.
That's yes.
Senator Renteria? Senator Rivera?
Yes.
All right. And the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. We will now move forward to item 8.0 reports. First is item 8.1 executive reports, starting with President Van Hoven.
I don't have anything new to report, just that I will be out of office pretty much some point every week. So if you need me, just text me or call me. And with that, I'll yield my time.
For any, well, actually, no. Since this, let me also clarify. Since we did not turn in a report this last Friday, we'll be turning in it next Friday. Don't do the please refer to my report or anything like that, since we simply don't have one. So just say whatever announcements you have, and we can just leave it at that. So for me, because we have the election soon, it's time to hammer down the projects that we have and finalize them in the next few months that we have. My warning to the Senate, just off of personal experience, is that May comes really soon. And with midterms, with finals, with everything else that goes on, with the elections in between, we can really lose track of time when it comes to getting projects done and staying on a timeline. And I really don't want any of us to work on rushed projects because we just want to get something through. So if anyone has ideas, please come to me. If you've already done your one-on-one with me, you can schedule with me at any time so we can plan for more. I'm going to be starting by focusing on transitions now. Even though we do not have an elected cohort, I'm going to be creating templates for you guys for turnover logs, things that you guys have worked on, who you've worked with, and then I will be giving you guys, in the beginning of next month, probably calendar invites to events with those newly elected cohort when they actually get elected in. Because I would really like for all executives and all current senators to meet with the newly elected cohort as soon as they are, as soon as the election is over, just so that we can have continuity with what we do. So I'll update you well in advance on those dates. Please schedule one-on-ones with me if you haven't, and thank you for all the work you've done for the campus, and see you guys soon. So, yep.
To follow up a little bit on that, with that being said, your constituent outreach funds, if you have not used them, it's time to kind of start planning. Remember to give Luis and staff 2 weeks notice and make sure that you're filling out your outreach forms with proper documentation. If you do not wish to use your constituent outreach funds or do not use all of them, you can donate them to another senator and work together. And then to follow up this last finance committee, the finance committee approved 6 club booster grants and approved 3 sponsored activity grants. One of the grants or 4 sponsored activity grants. One of the grants for sponsored activity, a club had previously asked for $2,520 and then came back to us this last finance committee to apply for the rest of that. They needed an additional $300 funds for their sponsored activity grant, so it was also approved that way. If you guys have any questions, so now the new amount is $2,787. It was previously passed by the Senate floor, so you guys can look at the previous minutes, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I did want to mention budget call is open, as well as the IRA application, so make sure you guys reach out and let your constituents know. And as for the budget, you guys have had access to the budget all academic year long. The budget will be reviewed, I believe, is it the second to last Senate meeting?
We normally do the second to last.
So the second to last Senate meeting, so if you guys have any questions or need any clarification, please feel free to reach out to me, James, or Manny. With that, I will
Perfect. Hello, everyone. So I'm just going to report on the CSSA January plenary. And there's also going to be another plenary on January 15th this weekend that I'll report on in the next Senate meeting per ASI bylaws. So during this plenary, we were able to have representatives on every committee, so system-wide, legislative, and then the board of directors. On system-wide, we talked about 5 key changes in student affordable housing, including inconsistent data collection, unclear prioritization for housing accommodations, and barriers created by unit requirements for eligibility in state-funded housing programs. So that was what was discussed in the system-wide committee. In legislative, there was legislative proposal to improve accuracy of cost of attendance and budget for student success, legislative proposal to increase access to the campus, housing for college students with experience in foster care and homelessness, which were both co-sponsored by the CSSA body unanimously. And then on the board of directors, the main discussion item was attendance policy review for CSA governing members. So those are the main things that were discussed. There are going to be some follow-ups in this next plenary for February, so more to follow. God bless you all, and God bless these United States of America.
Thank you, sir. We will now open the floor for item 8.2 Senator report, starting with Senator Blodgett. And you guys can just go online. I don't need to call on you. Thank you, sir.
The Kremen Leadership Council applications are open, so if you know anyone that is a student of Kremen, please encourage them to apply. And with that, I yield my time.
I yield my time.
Those of us who are graduating, make sure you apply. I think the deadline is in later February, but 28th, there you go. Please apply as soon as possible because you won't graduate if you don't. And I yield my time.
The Health Center is hosting an empowerment self-defense class this Friday, and we have a few more spots to fill up, specifically from 1 to 4. So if any of you guys are interested or any of your constituents are interested, please feel free to reach out to me or the Health Center. We also have flyers upstairs. So it's a lot of fun. Please consider it. And with that, I yield my time.
I yield my time.
Okay, so it's Valentine's Day on Friday, and we are going to be passing out roses again. So if you want to help dethorn the roses, we will be doing that in the ASI office at 8:30, and then we'll start passing them out at 11. And with that, I yield my time.
I yield my time.
I yield my time. I yield my time.
I yell. So I'm doing Dogs for Diversity again this semester, February 26th. If you have groups that want a table, please let me know. We're working on getting it sent out and engaged right now. We've also reached out to the clubs that did last year to table. But this year we're gonna do it a little differently. I'm gonna do it along with a self-care hygiene drive, so that I need some senators to help chip in. We're gonna raid a bunch of dollar stores and pick up shampoo, conditioner, soap, socks, detergent, house cleaning products, window spray, stuff that students regularly need to keep a clean and healthy environment but don't get access to. We're trying to provide 3 items of those for the first 200 people. If you need a budget breakdown or any amount of money would help, and we're gonna start raiding dollar stores next week. We'll probably do a couple runs, so if you also need some hours. But if you have the availability between 11 to 1 with that Wednesday, February 26th, please stop by. Also tell your constituents, so that way if they need those items, they can also come and get. So with that, I yield my time.
I yield my time.
I yield my time.
I yield my time.
Okay, so we've skipped on ahead to the staff reports. Sir?
Like the short and sweets. Welcome back to the spring semester, everyone. Hope you guys have adjusted to your course schedules and such. Please be mindful, as to Freddie's point, that you have a very limited and shortened window to get your projects done, so make it count. Election petitions are out. They are due on February 21st by the close of business. If you know of anybody from your respective colleges or friends or part of your sororities or any kind of street life, feel free to encourage them to pull a petition and make sure it's filled out correctly. The election will be held April 1st to the 3rd, and we will have an all candidates meeting to go over all the rules and regulations on March 5th. And with that,
Yes, sir. All right. We will move forward to item 9.0, adjournment. Does any member have any further business before we adjourn this meeting? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Senator Hall?
Motion to adjourn.
For a second, Senator Chowdhury? Thank you. Any discussion debate? We'll now vote on the motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Any abstentions? The motion to adjourn passes.
Yippee! You're in the Legion, right?
Yeah.
Can I talk to you?